Database mirroring is a new functionality that Microsoft added into SQL Server 2005, and this is really cool. This is a kind of a combination of standby servers and clustering, and it really turns into being automatic standby server failover. A better way to put it, more in layman's terms, is standby server on steroids, if you will. Because here's what's going to happen. We're going to have 3 servers, so this is somewhat expensive. You got to have 3 copies of SQL Server. You got to have 3 boxes, and you got to have a fair amount of time to set this up and test it and so forth. But notice what happens. Let's get our terminology right first. The source server, or our production SQL Server, is called the principal. The destination server, or the one that'll be getting the copy, is called the mirroring server. And then the server that kind of watches over this and decides who's in charge is called the witness server. Okay, let's look at a graphic of it. If we've got a principal server out here that has our production database on it, and we want to mirror this, well, we're going to set up a destination or a mirror server, and then we're going to set up a witness server. Now what's going to happen is we are automatically going to pump transaction log updates onto the database on the destination server. So the first step up, we're going to copy the database over, then we're going to constantly do log shipping and send our transaction logs over here. What's different with this, though, is the witness server is sitting here overseeing this whole process. And when the principal server starts to have a problem and starts to go down, the witness server simply notifies the destination server that it's now the principal. And so this begins to function as the principal server. Then when we get the principal server back up, it assumes the role of destination. So basically, these two things switch places, if that makes sense. And the witness server takes care of this. Now, what the users see is a near instantaneous failover when it's working properly. And as far as they're concerned, it's very similar to a cluster. A failure happened and service simply changed over. Notice all this is doing is taking care of the manual aspect of moving that last log and the manual aspect of changing the names on these servers. And instead of having maybe a half-hour downtime, you have near instantaneous switchover. Okay, so that's database mirroring. I will refer you to some of the white papers out on Microsoft's website, or out to some of the documentation on the absolute detailed steps on setting this up. This is something you'll want to test before you input in a production environment. This is new. As such, I haven't seen it in a production environment yet, but this is a fabulous idea. It is a way to get into clustering without some of the other hassles of clustering. So anyway, that is database mirroring.